In the last lecture before the oral examination, we talked about our personal plans and goals, and I probably took your ear off because this is something that is so personal, because your plan is in no way similar to anyone else's plan and goals. Okay, so this is something that is extremely personal, and I encouraged a lot of students to come forward and talk about their plans for the near future. So let's go through the highlights of this unit, and we start by leaving out the dialogue because we already did that. When we talk about our plans, we use either the present continuous tense or the present simple tense. For example, we have in here, what do you plan to do after you graduate? What do you plan to do after you graduate? For example, I can say, I plan to land a job. I plan to land a job. Okay? So this is the present simple tense to ask someone about his plan for the future. Okay, and sometimes you also discuss your plans. For example, what are you doing after that? What are you doing after that? I am going back to school. I am going back to school. So let's go back to the main question. What do you plan to do after you graduate? My personal answer, I plan to land a job. What are you doing after that? I am going back to school. So this is a plan. This is something that is fixed in your mind. This is the grand scheme for your life in the near future. We might also go into further details when we um, ask other people about their plans for the future. For example, in here we have, when will you be in Europe? When will you be in Europe? And notice in here the shift to the future tense. Okay, when will you be in Europe? I will be there in June. I will be there in June. How long will you be there? I'll be there for 6 months. I'll be there for 6 months. What countries will you visit? France and Italy. What will you do there? I am going to learn about European art. So I all the time tell you about the fact that you have sometimes to stretch the conversation, okay, by asking about details. For example, in here, in discussing future plans 3, you have in this example, he's asking about the time he's going to be in Europe, okay, about what he is going to do there, how long he plans to stay in the and also the main goal of him or her traveling to Europe. Okay, so all of these are a question to stretch the conversation. We also listen to this exercise. You can also use this as your personal map to map out your future, or at least your near future. On conversation 2, the main title is, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Of course, I am leaving out the dialogue. So let's see here, discussing goals. What do you want to do? I want to study languages. What do you want to do? I want to study languages. What would you like to do? I would like to study languages. Okay, so notice here the difference between what do you want to do and what would you like to do. What would you like to do? Which is, as I say always, is more polite to ask in this way. What would you like to do? Okay. Discussing hopes as well. What do you hope to do? What do you hope to do? I hope to land a job. I hope I will get a job. I hope I will uh, uh, go back to school. Okay, all of these options or all of these plans. It is really difficult to discuss that on my own, because your plans and your hopes are are so personal to you. Okay, so it might differ, but I really like this exercise in here, in which you dissect your plan for the next 5 years. For example, what do you want to do next year? What do you want to do in the next 5 years? And what do you want to do in the next 10 years? So I encourage all the students to do that. Okay, I encourage all the students to do that. What do you want to do next year? What do you want to do in the next 5 years? What do you want to do in the next 10 years? Okay, so all of these are exercises in which you hold the vision of what you want to do in the future. Discussing possibilities. What do you think you will do after you graduate? What do you think you will do after you graduate? In here, you do not really have a plan, okay? Or the other person doesn't really expect you to have a plan, okay? And you also do not have uh, a a fixed answer. This is not something that you have previously thought about. So you might say, I might take some time off. I might take some time off. So here, notice the difference between talking about possibilities, something that is not really planned, and talking about things that are fixed and planned previously. As I said, these are the highlights and a general rundown on Unit 12 from our Person to Person 1.